Differential equation problem. I think we'll be strong at every single part of this problem. I think you might have the most questions at this point with maybe letter A or something there, but you're supposed to kind of trace the slope field on this problem. It says sketch a solution curve that passes through the point 0,2. So if you look at the point 0,2, literally everything around there, left and to the right and through there is just a horizontal line, so just make that. And then it says sketch a solution curve that passes through the point 1,0. So here's the point 1,0. And then so basically I put a dot there and it told me I was going up and to the right. So I went over to the next one. I went up and to the right, up and to the right. And I went like down and to the left. And then when I got here, it went horizontal and then went up and to the left. And so then you just, tracing that curve right there. So just make sure it goes to the point that they tell you and make sure it looks like the direction of all those little hash marks right there. And we should be pretty good. And then letter B, just because you see particular solution to the differential equation doesn't mean you're going to find that right away, all right? Letter C talks about finding that particular solution. So that's when we're going to find it and do the integral of both sides, right? But right here, it just says let y be that particular solution. And then it says write the equation for the line tangent to the graph. This is what we know how to do. Write the equation of the tangent line. You need a point in the slope, and you're going to do the point slope form. So it tells us that x equals 1, the y value is 0. So boom, there's my point. And then we need to figure out what the derivative is. So here's my derivative equation. And I'm going to take the point, that 1, plug it in for x. I'm going to take the 0, plug it in there for the y to get the slope of my tangent line. And so I get that 4/3 right there. And then once you get your 4/3, then you're going to do your point slope form, get the equation of your tangent line. So boom, that's the first part of that part B. And then it wants us to use that equation to estimate the f of 0.7. So just plug in 0.7 for the x, do some arithmetic there. I made that like -3/10 because the fractions are easier for me to do without the calculator. Got -4/10, which is going to reduce to the -2/5 right there. Letter C tells us to find the particular solution to the differential equation with this initial condition. So these are all the problems. We've done a bunch of these. We're going to integrate both. We're going to first get the y's with dy, x with dx, separate your variables. And they're going to integrate both sides. Remember to plus c, plug in the point that they give us to figure out what that c value is, plug that back in there and solve that for the y. So I'm going to first move the dx to the other side, lock those differentials into place. You have to do legal algebra. This is all multiply. So you're going to divide both sides by that y minus 2 squares to get the y's with the dy. X is going to stay over there with the dx. It doesn't matter what you do with 3. You might as well leave the extra stuff on the right-hand side because you're going to have to solve for the y anyways and move it right back over. But technically, it doesn't matter what you do with that 3 right there. So you integrate this. Here you see my u du to the side, right? Remember when you get a 1 over u squared, that's u to the -2. So you integrate that, you get u to the -1 over -1, which is -1 over u. Plug your y's back in, integrate that. It's an easy integral. Put the plus c on the side the x's are on, and then find that c value right away. Plug the 0 in for the y, plug the 1 in for the x, get the 1/6, and that 0 minus 2, which is a -2, but -1 over -2 is a positive 1/2. And then you see all my work there. It's basic arithmetic. Find the c value, pop that back in. And then when I came over here to solve it for the y now, because it says y equals, so I got to solve this for the y. Whenever I got fractions like this, it's on the bottom, I like to get one single fraction and just cross multiply. So I made that 2/6, got a common denominator, one single fraction. Then I just cross multiplied, divided by that, move the 2 over, boom, done with that differential equation problem right there. Pottery wheel, coil method.